Okay, let's dive right into this explainer and completely transform that intimidating alphabet soup of immunology into an unforgettable boot camp documentary. Seriously, if you've ever stared at a textbook diagram of T-cell maturation and literally felt your eyes glaze over with all the CD markers and pathways, you are in exactly the right place. Today we're taking a structured, highly tactical approach. We're going to use a brilliant T-cell military camp analogy that perfectly mirrors the biological journey of these cells. By the end of this, you won't have to blindly memorize a single confusing figure ever again.
This journey maps out our recruit's path from being just a clueless baby in the bone marrow to a highly specialized soldier deployed all throughout the body. Now, unlike B cells, which generally just stay in their lymph node school, T cells are trained in a rigorous, hardcore military academy, the thymus. You can think of the bone marrow as the maternity hospital where they're born, the thymus as the strict army training camp where they learn the ropes, and the periphery as the vast battlefield where they spend years of dedicated service. Here is our bootcamp itinerary for today. We'll start with the baby recruit, move into thymus basic training, hit the graduation day decision, explore specialized career paths, take a look at the special forces, and finally wrap up with our ultimate bootcamp review.
Section 1. The baby recruit.
Starting off in the bone marrow maternity hospital. With the Pro T cell, our newly born baby recruit knows absolutely nothing. They're dressed in very specific baby clothes, markers that, if they get permanently stuck here, indicate a major problem. At this stage, the Pro T cell expresses CD34, TDT, and CD10. Why is this so absolutely crucial to grasp? Well, because if you ever see a cell stuck in this phase, expressing TDT and CD34, you need to immediately think of an immature lymphoid cell. In a clinical context, a cell trapped in these baby clothes points directly to something serious, like an acute lymphoblastic leukemia, or ALL. These immature markers are actually super easy to burn into your memory if we use a simple visualization. Just picture this in your head. The baby recruit wears 34 diapers, representing CD34. They're clutching a little teddy bear, representing TDT. And they're clumsily walking around in size 10 shoes, representing CD10. Keep that hilarious image in your head, and for sure, you will never miss a question on immature T-cell markers.
Section 2. Thymus Basic Training.
Leaving the hospital behind, the recruit travels to the Thymus Military Academy, and this is where all the most important training happens. As a cortical thymus site, the student gets their very first official ID card. We can easily remember this as a 7-year-old finally joining school. So CD7 is the earliest T-cell marker. They are still immature, sure, but they're officially enrolled and ready to begin learning. So whenever you see CD7, just think of that shiny new first school ID card for our 7-year-old recruit.
During this critical training phase, the student faces a massive identity crisis. I mean, what are they going to do? Will they choose medicine or surgery, CD4 or CD8? This is arguably the most important stage of their entire training, and our trainee is totally overwhelmed with options.
So, the crucial point here is that during this double positive stage, our very confused intern decides to wear both badges at the exact same time. They proudly display both CD4 and CD8. Think of it like a wildly ambitious medical student who refuses to choose and insists on studying both medicine and surgery simultaneously. They are double positive cells, learning both skill sets right there in the thymic cortex.
Section 3. Graduation Day Decision.
Graduation day finally arrives, and the principal demands they choose one single specialization. They literally can never be both in normal peripheral blood. It's time to grow up and pick a definitive career path. And this perfectly illustrates the great divide. You have the CD4 teacher who strictly instructs and helps, versus the CD8 commando who slaps on the handcuffs and eliminates threats. The CD4 graduate becomes the helper. Think of them as a teacher. They help everyone, they never kill, they just instruct by producing cytokines. And a really great trick here, the word help has 4 letters, perfectly matching CD4. Then the CD8 graduate becomes the cytotoxic killer. Think of them as a hardcore army commando taking out infected cells. Notice how the number 8 looks exactly like a pair of handcuffs? That is your CD8 police officer slapping handcuffs on criminals.
Now, before they officially deploy, every graduating soldier must put on their CD3 Army uniform and grab their T-cell receptor weapon. No matter if they chose the teacher path or the commando path, they all share these 2 elements. Every single mature T-cell wears surface CD3. It's the standard issue Army uniform. Remember, if CD3 is still only in the cytoplasm, it means it's still packed up in the backpack and the cell is immature. And of course, the TCR, the T-cell receptor, is their assigned gun. Every soldier on the battlefield absolutely needs a weapon.
Section 4. Specialized Career Paths.
Now that they've graduated with their primary badges, they're leaving the thymus and entering the periphery. Imagine a rapid-fire career counseling session where CD4 graduates become one-on-one commanders against bacteria, allergy doctors, or fungal security guards. If they become TH1, they are the Army commanders activating macrophages. Just remember it as the one-on-one fighter. If they become TH2, they help fight parasites and drive IgE responses. Think of the word 2 sounding like a chew for allergy. And if they become TH17, they're the security guards fighting fungi with neutrophils. Just picture the number 17 looking like a long fungal stick.
But you know, every school needs discipline, and the Treg cell acts as the principal, using FOXP to stop unnecessary fights and prevent autoimmunity. The regulatory T cell, or Treg, is absolutely vital to the whole operation. Just picture a strict fox, FOXP, acting as the school principal. And what does a principal use to keep noisy children quiet? A whistle. That whistle is CD25. Together, FOXP and CD25 ensure the immune system doesn't accidentally attack its own body.
We also have Professor BCL6, the follicular helper T cell, who stays behind in the coaching center to tutor the B cells for their exams. If you recall how B cells operate, they need a lot of help to pass their grueling tests in the germinal center. The TFH cell is that dedicated teacher who stays behind to help. They wear the professor badge, which is BCL6, along with other markers like PD1, ICOS, and CXCL13.
Meanwhile, the CD8 graduate's path is highly focused. One soldier deploys as an effector to fight the battle, while another stays back as memory for the future. It's basically your standard military doctrine. You've got the effector T cell engaging the enemy directly, and the memory T cell hanging back, taking notes, ensuring that if this exact same invader ever shows up again, the army is ready to strike instantly.
Section 5. The Special Forces.
Let's step away from the standard infantry for just a second and talk about the rogue, elite elements of our immune system that completely ignore standard rules in deployment zones. The gamma-delta T cells are the special forces guarding the mucosal gates. You won't find them marching in standard formations at all. Instead, they are deeply embedded in the skin, the gut, and the spleen. Just remember the mnemonic: Gamma-delta guards the gates. The skin and mucosa are your body's physical gates, and these special forces are the first line of aggressive defense right at the borders.
And then there's the NK cell. This is the street cop who skipped military school entirely and asks absolutely no questions before immediately striking a target. NK stands for natural killer, but honestly, you should remember it as no questions. Unlike standard T cells that require polite antigen presentation before they act, the NK cell can recognize distressed or infected cells independently and just eliminate them on the spot. They are the ultimate rapid response unit.
Section 6. Ultimate Boot Camp Review. Let's synthesize this entire military academy analogy into pure, highly testable facts. Thinking back on our high-yield mnemonics, we have the baby diaper CD34, indicating an immature cell. We've got the 7-year-old's first school ID, CD7, which is the earliest T-cell marker. We have our helpful 4-letter teacher, CD4, and we have our strict principal FOX, FOXP3, keeping order in the ranks. By linking the marker directly to the story we just walked through, the underlying concept becomes utterly unforgettable.
If you remember just one single concept from today's explainer, anchor your memory to this core graduation journey. A baby with CD34 and TDT enters military school, getting their CD7 ID. They wear both uniforms, CD4 and CD8, as a confused intern. Then, they finally graduate, choosing to be either a helpful CD4 teacher, like TH1, TH2, TH17, Treg, or TFH, or a lethal CD8 soldier dividing into effector and memory units.
So, recruit, how are you going to take this structured, tactical knowledge and deploy it to absolutely dominate your next immunology test? You now have the complete map of the T-cell military camp. The alphabet soup is completely gone, replaced with a clear, logical story of maturation. Keep these visualizations fresh in your mind, trust the structure we built today, and you are going to navigate this complex topic with total confidence. Class dismissed.